for how many solutions that happened when they were the same line. And infinite, because all of the things on the one line would also be on the other line. So what I want to show you is what happens when solving, or how you can figure out what would make something have no solution. So, or sorry, the same solution. And then we're going to also do that with no solution. So if it's the same line, I think we all said when it was slope-intercept form, right? Wouldn't they have the same slope and the same y-intercept? But in standard form, it's kind of hard to tell. So in question 7, it says, in the xy plane, the equation's 3x minus 4y equals 5. So I'm going to write that down. I know the entire thing. And 12x minus 16y equals c represent the same line. What is the value of c? And so this is a little different question because I'm not necessarily trying to solve it. I'm trying to figure out what c would have to be to make it true. What would I have to do to make it be the same as that? And I'm going to show you a little trick that always works. We've been taught that you can multiply a row by something, right, to get to the other row. So what I'm going to tell you is if these lines are the same, the ratio of 3 to 12, if you would divide those two, or you could write it as 12 over 3, would have to be the ratio of negative 4 to negative 16. And that also would have to be the ratio of 5 to c. All of those things would have to be, when you divide them or take the top and multiply by the bottom, they would have to be the same thing. Does anyone know what c would have to be? 20, very good. Were you noticing that 3 times 4 gives you 12 and negative 4 times negative 16? Okay, and then 5 times 4 would give me 20. But let's say you couldn't see it. If you wanted to, what you could take is one of these fractions and set up a ratio and proportion like this. Do you remember earlier on in the year how we solved something like that? Yes, I heard you. Cross multiplied. So we do 12 times 5 equals 3 times c. I'm showing you a way to do it in case it's not a nice number like just multiplied by 4. You're going to find it's going to be 20 here in a second. What's 12 times 5? 60 equals 3c. c would equal 20. Okay. So a lot of you can, like I said, figure that out, or could have figured that out without doing all that math, but sometimes it's not going to be quite so perfect. Okay. Same line. By the way, then everything in those equations would have to be the same. In the xy plane, 2x minus 3y equals negative 5, and 14x minus 21y equals c represent parallel lines. What of the following could not be a value of c? Okay, what does parallel lines mean? They never touch, but the slopes have to be the same. So what ends up happening in standard form is the x and y part are the same because they drop out, but the constant on the other side is not the same. So what, I'm going to write this down. Okay, in order to be the same line, what would c have to be? Can you figure it out? In order for these two to be the same line, what would c have to be? Yes. How did you get negative 35? If I wanted to get this line to go to here, 2 times 7 would give me 14. Negative 3 times 7 would give me the negative 21. And you're right, negative 5 times 7 would be negative 35. So that's what c would have to be the same line. So if I said, which of the following could not be c here? If they're parallel, that's the only thing it can't be. Okay? It can't be negative 35. So it would be letter C. Okay.